Alright, this one's going to be on a script I created for myself, but other people might find it useful. This one's called mountjutsu, and basically is a way to mount and unmount stuff initially, but I also added other stuff to it. So you can actually do, let me see some examples here. So like I said, it's for mounting and unmounting stuff, like your USB stick, hard drives, whatever it is. You can eject it too. Um, And I also added this one because I always get annoyed of formatting, like, to different file systems, like a USB stick or something like that. And I want to do it really quick. I don't want to waste time like opening GUI or typing stupid commands, like 10 or 20 of them. It's just, you're not going to remember them, right? So that's why I made this little menu. You can do like ext2 to 4 for Linux stuff. You can do like Windows stuff. You can do Mac stuff, HFS. HFS doesn't have journaling because on Linux you can't write to it if there's journaling enabled. Just FYI there. You can do fat stuff here, and if you're into like console modding, you can do like a FAT32 KB cluster. And I know that one you need it for GameCube stuff on the Wii, right? And some other systems too if you're doing console modding. You probably know what I'm talking about if you're into that shit. Um, what is this one here? Formatting. Oh yeah, if your hard drive or something is over 2 terabytes, you want to use GPT. So that's what we have here for GPT. Same type of file systems that we have, but that's why I put it here for GPT here. And what is here? This one is, so MBR is like anything under 2 terabytes, and GPT is anything over 2 terabytes. And the next one here, this is Lux for Lux Encryption, which stands for Linux Unified Key Systems, I believe. But basically, it's just a way to hide your porn in either USB stick, SD cards, or hard drive, whatever it is. It will actually encrypt it, and also has a password protection. So if you want to hide stuff, you can do that. I'll probably show you that. I can't demonstrate all of this because it'll take too long, but I'll show you some of the stuff I use regularly, or often if I'm trying to format some stuff. This one is Clonezilla for cloning. What was that? Your drive, the whole drive, or just a partition, and you can also restore it. Also, I demonstrated this out a while back on my Clonezilla video, but that one was just command line functions. I put that in here since I had the functions already created. I just made it into a menu. Same thing with all these other ones I demonstrated out. This one too was called like format to USB or something like that, but put it into a menu because I don't remember all those functions I created, right? The next one here, this is for DVD. I wouldn't say ripping it. It's called DVD exact copy. Basically, it'll try to make the exact copy of it. Like, so if your DVD has like what was that, titles and menus and stuff like that, it'll try to match it exactly like that. Even if it's copyrighted and all that, it will make an exact copy. Same thing with audio CDs. It's not really ripping it to MP3s or anything. It's just making an exact copy of it. So this one will come out like a bin and queue, right? And data disc, it would just come out as an ISO and all that. This is for DVD playback. So you pop in your DVD disc or whatever, and you want to play back. I believe this one is using VLC. Same thing with audio CD. I'll just use NVLC, and you can just use that from the command line. Anything else in here? CDW is actually its own program, but I just put it in here as a reminder. But I do use this maybe once a year or something like that if I need to erase my disk. So if you have like a CDRW or something like that disk, you can actually do an erase, and you can also write to it here too if you want to add files. I show you this how I use this like a while back also. Anyways, we'll exit out of that. And what else can we do in here? This one is for fake USB. This one is using F3. I don't really use this that much because I don't buy fake USBs and stuff like that. But if you're one of those persons that got one of those fake stuff from eBay or Amazon, then you can also check it in here. And this one is my attempt to do like a smart CTL from the command line here. Well, smart CTL is a command line program. It's just that there was too many commands and I couldn't remember all of them. So I just made like the ones that I would probably want to use. And this one is to check your hard drive health and stats and all that. I might demonstrate that, but it takes too long, so maybe I'll skip it. And this one's Woe USB is to create a Windows live bootable USB, so you can install it, you know, from the USB stick and all that. I demonstrated that a long time ago. So it's basically the same thing. I might add other stuff for like, you know, Linux and stuff like that later on, but right now it's just that one right there. What else is here? So the main point of this program when I started out was just for mounting and unmounting stuff. Kind of like, well, I got inspired by that program called Bash Mount, and that's what I initially started out with. But and then I'm like, why don't I have the other stuff like, you know, formatting and all that? So that's why I added other stuff in here. The stuff that I don't want to remember how to do, right? Just, you know, put it in a script and let it do the same stuff that you always wanted to do and do it really quick instead of wasting your time opening a GUI or typing like 10 command lines just to do one thing. Anyways, that's what we're doing. So let me plug in my USB here and we'll demonstrate some of the stuff out. All right, so the USB is plugged in, and if you want to refresh, you can do what's that? This option is for refresh, so lowercase r. So if I type in lowercase r here, you can see that I just plugged in my USB, and right now it says SDD here, and this one's a 14 gig NTFS, right? So if I wanted to format it to, let's say FAT32, right? So this one is MF. And I short that for MBR and FAT. So that's what we're doing here. So MF. And what is the device you want to format? So the device is SDD here, right? So we're going to type in SDD. And what kind of name you want to give it? So this label, we're going to call it, what is this one? This one's a ScanDisk. So we'll call it ScanDisk. And then it's gonna, you know, do a confirmation here. So this is the one that we want to format. Yes. Okay, we hit Y for yes. And you type in your password. And this one is made to be very simple. So it's just gonna create one partition that fills up the whole device. And it's gonna, you know, put the file system that you want to use, which is in our case was FAT32. And once it's done, it's gonna say press any key. So that's it, we're done. And you can see now, this is our device that we just formatted to FAT, you know, 32 here. So say VFAT here, and our label was ScanDisk, right? That's the one that we gave it. So if I want to mount this, real easy, I do mount. So this is mount here. So I hit M. And which device you want to mount, or in this case our partition, so SDD1, and that's it. Now it's mounted. You can see that there's just our mount point, right? And usually I would exit out of this, and I already have it, you know, that location set up on my arranger, so I just bust out, you know, my hotkey, and I'll jump to that location real quick. So if I want to copy some stuff over, let's say this one here and this one, and we'll do copy it over, and we should refresh it here, and that's it. Look at that, we copy those two over to our USB stick, right? So if you ever want to use it, what else can we do in here? So if I want to unmount it, so how we unmount it, you have to exit out of this. We do unmount U here to unmount, and which one do you want to unmount? SDD1, and that's it. So our mount point is gone, right? There's no more mount point, and that's how you would unmount it. If you want to eject it, so even if this one was mounted, let's see here, SDD1, So it's mounted again. So if you want to eject it, it will actually unmount all the drives on that device. And it will actually eject it. So if you do eject, it'll do both. So it'll do unmounting and ejecting at the same time. So if I do E here, and which device you want to unmount and eject and all that. So SDD, and it'll actually do the whole thing. And there you go, right? It's ejected. Now you can pull out your USB stick or hard drives or whatever it is you're doing. We'll put it back in though. Let's see here. Okay, it's back in, and we do a refresh here. And there we go, we're back in, right? If you want to do, let me demonstrate cloning. How about that? So if I want to mount this here, SDD1, right? Whatever files we have, maybe you add more files or what? You want to add more files? So we had these 2 files. Let's say we add another one or something. This one. Right, so we have like 3 files here or whatever. If I want to clone this, I think you have to unmount it here first. So we do unmount 1. And if I want to clone it, let's clone that whole drive. So we do clone drive here, right? SDD here. Oh, no, not SDD. CD for clone drive, right? So we do CD. And which device do you want to clone? We want to clone SDD. And give the output file name. We're going to call this one scan this. That's it. Where do you want to save it to? So I want to save it to home. My name. You can actually do tab completion on here, so you can want to do that. And downloads. We're gonna put it in my downloads folder, okay? And should we give it another? I think it'll pop up. Yeah, I'll put it in downloads. How about that? So there we go. It's gonna do its thing. Are you sure you want to continue? We hit yes. And there you go. This is the same thing that we did like, when did I make that video? Maybe like a year ago, right? But it's using Clonezilla. And depending on whatever file system it is, it's gonna do different stuff. So if it's like NTFS or something like that, it'll use something else. And that's it. Push any key to continue main menu. Okay. So we have our cloned it here. So this is our cloned it drive for using Clonezilla. You can see it says scan disk Clonezilla disk, and it'll give out the date and all that you've done it. So this is our image here. So let's demonstrate out like restoring. Okay, we'll bust this out here, and let's say we format this thing to I don't know, what do we want to format to? NTFS. How about that? We'll do a format. So if I want to format this to NTFS, NTFS here, this one is MN. So we do MN here. All right, SDD. And we want to give this one, we'll call this one NTFS scan. What was that? Scan disk? Scan. Okay. How about that? Yes. And now it should be formatting to NTFS. So there you go. All right. So now we deleted that, or we formatted that FAT32. Now it's just NTFS. And we can mount in here too if you want. Let's say we mount this sucker. All right. And we'll open that. And you see it's empty. Let's put some new stuff in here. What is this here? These two here. ROI. Let me see here. What was that? That was too long. Okay, that one here. So we put 3 files in here. All different stuff. But you see here, this is our new files on this USB stick, right? But let's say if I want to restore the stuff that we had, how do we do that? So first you have to unmount this thing here, SDD1 here. All right, and then we want to restore the drive using Clonezilla. So we do restore drive, which is RD. So we do RD. Which device do you want to restore? SDD here. And where's our image location? So ours was in home, my username, downloads, and what was that one called? Scan something, right? There you go. And that's it. You just put in that folder, and then you hit enter. And now it's gonna back up the files that we had before, and you'll see here. Do you want to continue? We put yes. Are you sure you want to continue? It'll do a double confirmation. And like you said, you know, you also want to read this just to be sure. This is the device that you want to format, right? So this one is our USB stick, so I know I'm sure. So we'll wait for it to do its thing. All right, so now it's putting back the FAT32 that we had before. And it's taking longer than expected. But there you go. Look at that. It's done. Push any key to return to main menu. And now we have that FAT32 that we did earlier. And let's say we mount it. How about that? Mount SDD1. Okay, it's mounted. So we're gonna go to that folder and look at that. All the 3 files that we did earlier is back, right? So there you go. That's how you do that. What was that? Clonezilla stuff from the menu. And you can do that for just the partition only. So this one's just for partitions. The one that we did was the whole drive, which is probably 99% of the time you want to use. And this one's just for, you know, if you only want to clone a single partition, if you had like multiple partitions, but not really. What else can we do here? This one I'm not going to demonstrate because I don't really have that available right now. Plus it takes too long. What else is here? The fake USB stuff I'm not going to demonstrate either. The health stuff, I mean, it's not that hard here. If you want like info on a hard drive, which what can we do? Okay, well I guess we can do I'm not sure we can do a USB though, because this one's like just for hard drive. But let's just see here. We'll do SI for info. Can we do SDX? No, this one's mainly for hard drives only. So this one's mainly for hard drives. So let's say, for example, I can list out all my drives here. And this one's just DF here. Right. And I have other drives, you know, like my main drive and another one. So if I wanted to get information on it, I can do like what was that? SDC here. And this is my hard drive. So if I want to do info, right, I can do SI and I can do SDC. And this one will give me a, I guess an output or something. Let me see here. Where the hell was that? So it'll tell me like basic information, like, you know, what was this here? If it's like a smart enable. So this one, I just highlighted all the stuff that I look at. So that's why you see is like, you know, all the ones that's been grepted here. You can see that the capacity, this one is a 1.5 terabytes. the name of it, like Western Digital, if it's smart enable or not. Does it have smart capability? Did it pass the results, whatever? So just the stuff that I look at, and stuff like that. And what kind of test you can do? You can do like a short test, which is like 2 minutes. Extended test is like, what is I don't know, like over an hour. You can do a conveyance test, which is like 5 minutes. This one doesn't always exist on different hard drives. Most hard drives, they'll have like short and extended, not always conveyance here. What else is here? So I can look at like how many hours it's been on. So this one's like 61,000 here. And which one is pre-fail? What was the thing that was pre-fail? So if the value of this is equal to the threshold, then it will say fail. I forgot what I wrote in here, but I'll explain it in the bottom here. But you can see, I can look at some basic information from the command line here real quick, just the stuff that I look at. So these ones were my short tests that I've done a while back. So you see that says like, you can do a short test. And as far as like the little reference I said, so if the value is less than or equal to the threshold, and then it will say, it will be failed. And if it's really failing, it will say failing now on this column. I wish I had my old hard drives. I can show you like more information, but in here you can see if it's failing or not. So like I said, the two threshold, or the two values I look at, is the value and the threshold, the thresh value, and then you can compare it if the numbers are equals or whatever it is. It's in the bottom, and it'll say it's failed. Now if it's really failing, over here in this when it says when it failed, it'll say failing now. That's how you know that your hard drive's fucked up. So that's pretty much it for explaining it. As far as the power on days, I said was that 61,000, right? Yeah, 61,000. That's like over 6 years already, right? So the power on hours here. So this one's 52,000. That's like around 6 years. So this hard drive is like pretty old. This one was like 61,000. That I explained up top here. What was that one here? Power on hours. Yeah, power on hours here on number 9 here. So this one's like 61,000 here, and that one's like over 6 years, right? So I gave you a little benchmark, or not a little benchmark, but a little chart to determine how old is your hard drive, right? Anyways, what else is here? So that's one's for checking information. And if you want to enable smart or disable smart, you can do that here really quick if your hard drive actually supports it. And I don't know, I'll skip the rest because it takes too long here. What else can we do? Oh, let's do that Lux Encryption, because I know there's always people that wants to, what is it, protect their porn and stuff like that. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so let's unmount this USB stick here. So SDD1 here, and we're gonna format it to a Lux Encryption. How about that? All right, and since Lux mainly just works on Linux, I didn't bother to put like NTFS or FAT or whatever it is. We're just gonna use let's say ext4 only, right? So this one's L4 to do that. So we do L4. And which device do you want to set up Lux Encryption on? I'm gonna do SDD here, and we want to continue. Yes. And you gotta type in capitalized letter here, right? So we do YES, case sensitive. And you want to enter your passphrase for this device that you want to have a password on. So we're going to type in our favorite password, da. Type it again to confirm it. Okay, so now it's going to wipe out the old stuff, and it's going to put the Lux Encryption and everything. So that's it, that's done. So now we're going to type in our passphrase that we gave it. So and this one will continue the process here. So it's gonna create a Lux encryption with the file system of ext4 inside it, right? And I think that's pretty much it, right? There you go. So now we have our USB set up as a Lux. It'll say crypto Lux here. And let's say we want to mount this here. Mount SDD. All right. And it's gonna tell us you gotta type in your password, fool. All right. So we do da. And that's it. So now when it's mounted, you should see a new partition here. This one's called DM0, right? And you see that it's mounted in this location here. So we're gonna exit out of this, and we can open that location. So this is our new mounted Lux encryption. Now, if it's Lux encryption, it'll give you like this little what is that called? I don't know, ID code, or maybe like the UUID. Is it the UUID? Yeah, it looks like the UUID, right? So this one is gonna be your UUID here. That's the name it's gonna give it. Anyways, that's what we're gonna do. And in there, you can put in any files, like your porn files or whatever it is. Let's say, for example, we put this one. What else is there? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Those two here. So we got those two files in here. And if you ever want to unmount it, we do unmount this. We do SDD. That was the one for our Lux encryption. And there you go. We unmount it. It's locked in. So even if you want to open this in the GUI, I think you have to like do that too. What was that one? This one here, it says 15 GB encrypted, right? So you open this in the GUI, this one will give you a password here. We'll put forget me immediately, but you do I type it right. So there you go. If you ever want a secure what was that, USB stick or SD card or hard drive that you can hide your files inside, aka hiding your porn, you can do that here, right? Real quick. And we'll unmount this here. And there you go. So you can do that the GUI or the command line. It's up to you. All right. So that's mainly what I use it for, because I get really annoyed with mounting, unmounting stuff, ejecting stuff, formatting stupid shit that I know the commands to. It's just that I'm too lazy to look it up again. Cloning and or restoring stuff. Again, the stuff that I already know, but I'm too lazy to like try to remember 20 command lines just to do that same shit. So it's much easier to put it in a script and does the same crap that I wanted to do every time. All right. Anyways, if you like this, you can go download it. And also, as far as the dependency and stuff that you can read up on my help page here. If you type in just H here, lowercase h, for the help. So we'll do H here. Obviously you do need bash, and sometimes you need sudo, grep, awk, just the basic stuff up top here, right? But other sections, if you're not using it, then you don't need to install it. So these ones are the dependencies for this MBR section here. So all these stuff mainly for NTFS, HFS if you're doing the Mac stuff. And like I said, for the Mac stuff, this one is not journaled, because on Linux you can't write to it if it's journal. Linux can read it, it's just that it cannot write to the device if it's journal enable. And like I said, for the FAT32 32 KB cluster and stuff like that, those ones are mainly for console modding. Again, if you console mod, you probably know what I'm talking about. And for GPT stuff like that, it's over 2 terabytes, because you can't do MBR over 2 terabytes. It will just not allow you to do that. Lux encryption, that the one we just did, is for hiding your porn and stuff like that. So you do need what is that, crypt setup and Yeah, and this one's for was it the file system we're gonna use, which is ext2, 3, 4, and all that. And Clonezilla, right? Demonstrate that out. And this one's for DVD backup stuff that we've talked about. You get the idea. So each one's for different things, and I put in the dependencies for each section because not everyone's gonna use everything in here. Anywho, that is it for this one. Hopefully you like it. If you have any more suggestions, I was gonna put like floppy disk, Blu-ray stuff, but I don't have floppy disks. I don't have any Blu-ray drives, so I couldn't do that. I have tested, I think all of this because I did create it, but you know, I only had like one source. Like if it's a DVD, I only had like 1 or 2 DVDs, so who knows how it affects if you're using some other ones. Anywho, that's it for my little script here called mountjutsu. I use it mainly I made this mainly for myself, but like I said, it could be useful if you want to do it also. And that's the one thing I always complain about when I'm using like a terminal file manager, is that they don't have a way to quickly unmount shit, format stuff that I'm normally used to. If you ever use like old school Windows, they have like right click, format, and right click, eject or something like that. That's what I want in a terminal file manager also. Just something really quick that I can type in a few letters or something like that, and it will actually do the job for me. Anywho, long talking, but that's it for this one.